Happy Heritage Month, all. I am LaFleur Cockburn, and I'll be reading from my piece, Milk in Bush Tea. Hope you enjoy. Milk in Bush Tea. Brian Baptiste only pray for one thing from life grace. But the universe know Brian more than he know himself. And it line up his true desires like moonshine yams begging somebody to pull them. What Bryna really wanted was a good woman, he own farm, and a boy picnic for carry on his legacy. When Bryna learned about the government's brand new initiative for farmers in Orange Hill, he grabbed the opportunity to occupy his own space miles away from his extended family in Lauders. Too much aunties, uncles, cousins, too crowded, man. He's so excited he's settling in a little niche on the land, protected only by dragon bush, passion fruit, and bamboo. Nothing beats a natural shanty, he tell himself. He named his little slice of heaven Baptiste Farm. Bryna's son Alston born right there on Baptiste Farm. The universe like it breathed life into Bryna's shanty and deliver all his dreams the first night he invite a woman named Sonia on his farm. The woman dropped plans for a two-story bungalow in the dirt after she and Brian had done ramp. She grabbed she belly and declared Baptiste farm her forever home. Bury me right on this farm if me dead, she joked. If Brian didn't recognize the grace he always praying for, he might have said the woman trying to obey him. But he smiled and sent up a silent prayer for small blessings. He threw up his house before Alston born, and he wife up Sonia quick, quick. Her dirt plans outline concrete decking, water tanks, and a little barn separate from the house. Like in the movies now, she explained. And Bryna obliged. In 5 years, the Baptiste farm was known as a top grade producer of plantain, banana, and dasheen. Things nice, except for a little tension between Bryna and Alston. Why he have to laugh like an anti-man? Bryna want to know. Sonia ready for war when it comes to her only son. Alston laugh like me. What's wrong with that? But he don't look like you. Why he can't laugh like me? Bryna want to know. Anyway, enjoy your mini me. Me go do what me can to make him a gallus like he old man. And with that, he dip out of Sonia's sight with his bad man walk, a cross between a limp and the beginning of a reggae skank. Sonia on the ground hooting with laughter as he swag out of sight. By the time Alston graduates college, Sonia is a professional peacemaker. Her husband and son always on edge. She corner Alston after Brian forced him to pack 15 sacks of dasheen by himself. Your father don't mean no harm, Alston, she reassured him. But ma, he blah 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 about ancestry without lifting a finger for help. After he done spitefully sent home the two workmen. He just want you understand your heritage, Sonia placate Alston. He want you stronger than he in every way. When Alston ignore her, Sonia push out she chest and deepen she voice. Estate owner stress the family tree to laws and ladies and la di da di da. But you descend from noble lines. Alston joined Sonia in a low bass mimicry of his father, while doing an exaggerating swagger. You have Kasik in your blood, Ubutu in your spirit, Igwe in your skin. Sonia cackled till she choked on her own spit. But she find the strength to warn Alston that Brian are coming around the corner behind him. Alston soaked up his mother's infectious spirit. He didn't know the memory of his mother's laughter would be his oxygen. That joyful song was his link to sanity after COVID-19 hit Baptiste Farm and eased off with Sonia's last breath like a thief in the night. Sonia, Corona, and Soufriere starring on the Vincentian front page like the Trinity. The usual suspects react to the newspaper on Hot 97 Friday morning mayhem. Tom, the vaccine expert, shares his concerns about a fully vaccinated woman on a remote farm, not only catching the virus, but succumbing to it. Dick, the volcanologist, lecturing about all the smoke spraying from Soufriere. And Harry, the conspiracy theorist, going on and on about the obvious connection between Soufriere and the pandemic. Bryna and Alston stare clear at the radio. They decide to honor Sonia by going through with a cookout she set up before she passed. A pot of callaloo soup and goat tripe simmering over a fire pit. The cooler full of Vitamal, ginger ale, and bitter lemon. Jackfish well seasoned up, waiting for the grill. Breadfruit done roast things before cock crow. Baptist farm ready for the Easter cookout crowd. Only Edmund Hoyt and his son Eddie Shop toting two big falls and a case of Haroon Bear. You know hear the big man give evacuation order Baptist? Edmund asks Bryna. Well, Hoyt, the big man tell we vaccinate and we jump like monkey. With that profit Sonia? Eh? With that profit me wife? The big man can't order me. Only Jah do that. Edmund didn't bother arguing. The grill, he mumbled and pour himself with a shot of sunset rum and busy himself round the grill. I'll stand and Eddie in charge of plucking the two falls over a pot of hot water. I'll stand by the sore from all the push-ups Bryna insists he do at the crack of dawn. So when Eddie massaged his shoulders, his touch is like a balm on Alston's weary body. Alston squeezed Eddie's hand. Quick! The touch and go last less than 2 seconds. Bryna's man don't touch man philosophy, carved in stone as impenetrable as his man don't cry rule. And Alston no Sonia not around to intervene if Bryna catch him being soft. Alston flashed back to the last cookout. Sonia radiating with laughter after she tied up Bryna in his own argument. He dozing, right? Soufriere is with Guardian now, but he ready for action at the slightest touch. We fellas can't help it, Bryna proudly announced. He? You figure a man can handle the level of pressure Soufriere under? Plus you sell Sebati's farm under Soufriere bosom. Which man you know have bosom? Bryna starts sing, Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Sonia laughed. Well, we agree for disagree. Soufriere is neither man nor woman, just Mother Nature's rage. She winked at Alston. He chuckled and winked back. His mother knew exactly how to manage his father. The cookout in full swing till a shadow crossed Baptist's farm, as if a mako zombie step in front the sun. The ground start tremble, the dogs howling like the duppy, and judgment start bellowing from the top of suffering a mushroom cloud. Bryna pack up everything. Edmund and Eddie head home. Alston stare at the massive ash plume. Ma would have loved this, he whispered, closing his eyes as if he expect to find Sonia behind his closed eyelids. Alston, boy, help me get the things inside. Alston jumped at the sound of his father's voice and grabbed the hot makeshift grill. He registered a slight ache in his palm, but he marched past an astonished Bryna, tightly gripping the old gas bottle, even after the scent of his old burning flesh hit his nose. A few minutes later, the shadows deepened to darkness and midnight replaced midday. The place so gloomy Bryna not seeing Alston directly in front of him. They retreat into the house again, after Bryna hauled Alston outside in the gloom to help secure the dogs in the barn. Something had smashed into Alston's bald head, in the same spot Bryna accidentally cut when he trimmed off Alston's hair the day before. Sonia's funeral. She not here to plot it, he repeat, after each snip at the dull goat chest he scrambled, after he walking on Alston combing out his shoulder length calls. Bad man don't need long hair, he told his son. Alston whimper and grab Bryna hand in the darkness. Bryna tug with his hand so fast, Alston face plant in the door. But this not time for no weak man antics. Bryna roar as sulphurous stones hail down around them like the volcano trying to outdo the seventh plague of Egypt. By sunup, sulphur turned the country inside out. Bryna can't recognize his own place. The North Pole like it moved to Baptist farm, bringing heat instead of cold, grey instead of white. Bryna opened his door to find Edmund and Eddie up to their knees in ashes. Edmund snort like a donkey at the end of a marathon and start bawling. You see me place? If you see me place, Baptiste, not a clock, nor back. The chicken, pens, berry under ashes, everything gone. Passion fruit, mango, guava, coconut, golden apple, everything gone. Bryna present the best remedy for the situation. A bottle of sunset rum, left wide open from the day before. He saw 4 shots. Alston and Eddie too stunted to refuse the offering. Nobody mentioned the ash swirling around the room like powder milk in a hot cup of bush tea. Edmund tipsy and he pining loudly. Me house roof dropping under the weight of hailstones. Me not sure how long the one on the shop a go last. Brian never more grateful for Sonia's foresight than now. He concrete decking intact, but he not taking chances. Son, you and Eddie shovel the roof. Edman, let me go see about the animals. They can't release themselves. By evening, the yard swollen with cattle, sheep, goat, and pig. Most belong to Bryna, but Edman have one or two in the mix. All grass buried under ash, and the river is a steaming canal of hot flower pop. So no food for the animals. It's a good thing Bryna have his own water tanks. Just as they get the animals settled, the earth starts shaking again. So feel like it catch corona now. Edman attempt a joke in a hoarse, shaky voice. Nobody laugh. The new cloud column hanging over the Soufriere crater remind Alston of the nuclear explosion in his favorite Godzilla movie. Lightning zigzagging between the clouds, transforming the air into a fiery orange hue, as if the devil hung up a glitching disco ball in the midst of the sky. Thunder clapping so loud it vibrating in every soul sheltering at Baptiste Farm. When stones start blasting again, Edman whisper in a mournful, "We dead now," and Bryna open a fresh bottle of rum. Bryna and Edman double up on the mask they never use, even in the midst of Corona, and head for Edman's place as soon as the air clear enough for them to see. Edman knees buckle when he catch sight of his shop. Things worse. He stared at the gaping holes where windows and doors used to be. The shelves empty and the fridge door on the floor like the hinges magically disappear. A news van pull up alongside the road and two men jump out. A red-skinned stocky teen straining under a camera and a stringy hairless fellow brandishing a microphone. "This is Dick Francis for Searchlight News," Stringy said to the camera. "I can't go live because there is no signal whatsoever here. It's about 10 o'clock a.m. I am currently in Orange Hill and I will take the opportunity to interview these men who did not leave the red zone." He pushed the mic in Edman's face. So, what is your name?" Edman stepped back. "Edman Hoyt." "Why do you linger in the red zone, Mr. Hoyt?" "Well, this is my home." "Why you here?" Edman asked Stringy. The reporter switched statics. "How was the experience for you so far, Mr. Hoyt?" "Well, you can see the destruction for yourself. Them broke me shop and gone with everything like they work for it. How long do you think this will last?" Stringy cut off Edman before he finished his complaint. "How me for know that?" Edman spit at the mic. Soufriere groaned, shaking the ground as if mirroring Edman's annoyance. Stringy approached Bryna. "What about you, sir? Can you hear that rumbling?" Stringy eased closer, his eyes bright with anticipation. Bryna don't feel like entertaining no reporter. "Me not get ears like yours," he hissed and walked away. He pulled Edman, refusing to look back even after the van engine revved to life and it disappeared into the ashfall. A few days after the reporter's visit, rain replaced the falling ash. Brian was so glad he dancing, but the ashy ground transformed to a slushy mess, and when the rain stopped, Brian found himself wobbling through dense cement like muck that sucked his boots right off his foot. Brian and Edmund decide to venture beyond the farm to assess the area. They get as far as Rabaka, where a steep cliff replaced the slight incline leading down to the bridge. Big stones, dead animals, tree trunks, and all manner of evil flowing past in a brown sulphuric torrent. "Where the bridge gone?" Elman asked, peeping through the foggy air, obscuring parts of the riverbank. "You feel the heat?" Bryna sung like he's stifling. "That is the pyroclastic flow them talk about on the news. Them say if you get too close, it's death." The two men look at each other and head back to their farms in silence. 3 weeks after the big boom, Edmund and Eddie still at Baptiste Farm. The place looked like a grey nightmare. Plantains and banana leaves hang limp and scorched. Dashings resemble wilt lettuce. Green grass non-existent, and every step rake up miniature dust storms. Bryna and Edmund focus on repairing Hoyt Farm, while Alston and Eddie tend the animals at Baptiste Farm. The river not as milk white as before, but it not crystal clear either. Some green bush springing up between the ashes. You hear about this special stimulus package for farmers? Edmund probe. After a long day of fixing his house roof. Me going to use it to get some cement. I taking a leaf out Sonia book. Bryna smiled. He missed Sonia's intervention when he and Alston had both. Me go decide what to do with the stimulus when me see it. For now, a promise is a comfort to a fool, he tells Edmund. Alston and Eddie take the responsibility serious. They spend hours looking for grass on the scorched land. They're no longer on edge though. They touch without expecting the world to fall apart. They're wrestling in the dead grass in front of the house when Eddie noticed Alston's head scar. He touched it without thinking, lingering on the robbery knot already pushing out his friend's head like a mountain. Alston closed his eyes and think of his mother, wishing she was still around. "We kind of anti-man thing this?" A familiar voice cut through Alston's nostalgia. Before either boys could react, Bryna stepped back and raised his hands like a karate master. Alston felt laughter bubbling up, and he let out a squeal to his astonished father. The ground started trembling. Everybody freeze. Bryna stared in the direction of the sulfur crater. "So, Sonia, you mean you're still stepping in?" He pulled the frightened boys to their feet and shoved them towards the house. For the second time, Bryna poured 4 shots of sunset rum, raised his glass towards Soufriere, and made no effort to wipe the tears washing down his face. "Let me propose a toast to this place, to all the things me learned from my wife, and to," he turned to his son Alston, "and to my greatest blessing, Alston." He scrambled up Alston in a hug so tight, Alston wondered if his father finally lost his mind. Bryna threw back his head and cackled. Alston inhaled tentatively, savoring the breath. He sensed something new in Bryna's laughter, and he opened one eye to peep at his father. For the first time, Alston felt bliss in his father's presence. It tingled like the end of his mother's glee. Alston don't realize he holding his breath until the air collided in the back of his throat, and he starts sputtering like he now surfaced from a deep dive. And Bryna still not letting go. "Breathe, son. Your father is a gallus. You go be okay," he tells him. That's the end of Milk in Bush Tea.